Hello everyone, this is Overmind and welcome back to another StarCraft 2 replay analysis. Spawning over here at the 10 o'clock position on merry-go-round, we have our red Protoss player, maxbie! And spawning at the 6 o'clock position in blue, our Zerg player, univers. Which is like univers, but not quite the same. In any case, this is a silver level game. We are going to go ahead and focus a bit more on maxbie since he is our submitter for this game, and we are very grateful to him for submitting. Thank you very much, maxbie. Maxbie going to go ahead and place this pylon on down here. Probably going to wall off this ramp since he is playing versus Zerg, and we all hate those annoying Zergling run-bys. Now at this point, maxbie probably should be scouting. Definitely want to scout, especially on maps where you don't even know where your opponent is. But scouting will do two things, both tell you where he is, and tell you if he's doing something annoying, like 8-pooling or something like that. maxbie's going to go ahead and place this down here. Looks like he's going to have a nice little spot for a zealot to sit once this gateway is done. That's all good and well. You'll note that he's building probes, doing some pretty reasonable stuff. He's going to go ahead and get an assimilator on up. Everything looks good and fine here. Chrono boosting out probes, not queuing up too many. Very good. All except for the scouting, everything looks great. We are going to go ahead and check in on our Zerg univers, just to see what he's up to. You'll note that he actually isn't cheesing, which is great. Love to see Zergs play that macro game up and not throw it away just on some silly cheese. You can see that he's got an expansion up, and he's sending an overlord out here to scout, which is good. He's going to go ahead and scout the wrong spawn position, but then he'll know where maxbie is. He does have this nice drone sitting down here at the bottom of the ramp, so I assume that he's scouted around. Yeah, so he knows where maxbie is because of this drone here. So that's all just fine. This gateway is going to make a zealot, but the zealot is going to run way over here. Nope, he re-rallied him. I just want to note, for those of you who are doing this wall off, you want to put him right between the gateway and the pylon, but you want to put him on the hold position command, and the reason for that is that if a zealot sees a Zergling creeping up the ramp, he will run down the ramp to meet it, and then that little spot that you thought was blocked won't be. So go ahead, once he pops out, put him in the right spot, and push H. And then he won't run off or do anything silly without your permission. Which is good. We do see maxbie putting down a cyber core and looks like a robotics facility here, which is a completely reasonable thing to do. Most Protoss players either open Robo for the nice Immortals and eventually Colossi that are so good against ground units, or they open Air and harass with Phoenixes and force their opponent onto Roach Hydra, and then switch back and forth between Robo and Stargate. Do see another gateway coming down. Pretty good, pretty good. We see a lot of probe production happening throughout the course of this game. We do not yet see warp gate research. This is pretty late. And warp gate research is your best upgrade, really, as Protoss. It makes gateways into these amazing special things that can bring units from out of thin air. You definitely want to get that research going. Come on, maxbie. There we go. There we go. Alright. Alright. So it's late, but you know, he's got chrono boost. He's having a bit of a supply block issue here, but a pylon is almost finished for him, so it's not such a big problem. And this drone has been sitting here, and he's going to go ahead and see things like maxbie moving down the ramp. You can see that there's a pylon here. A lot of people do like to put the pylons back a bit further and then build gateways along the edge of the ramp, or forges along the edge of the ramp, or what have you, because they have a lot more HP than a single pylon, and because then a pylon will cover more area of the ramp. But really, using your buildings in order to he's gonna get blocked from expanding. Ugh, that's so annoying. Using your buildings to keep out the Zerglings and roaches and all the other nasties that Zerg can send your way is the way to go. You do note that maxbie is now scouting, and he's gonna see a lot of pretty normal stuff. There's a pool spawning. Speed's being researched. I guess there's some lag issues. Do have the expansion from Univers. And he's gonna get Evo chambers for those double upgrades, which is fine. There's just some discussion about lag. This annoying drone was cleared out. maxbie's gonna go ahead and expand. And he's got a forge coming up here, so he'll be able to put up cannons to help secure all of these lines of buildings that he has here and keep all of the baddies out of his base. I want to go ahead and note that he's not making a probe right now. Should always be making a probe. You should actually go ahead and make probes even when your base is saturated. Obviously 16 mining minerals and 3 in each gas is ideal for each base, but what you want to do is make more than you need so that you can expand and then transfer some down into this expansion. That's actually called Maynarding away or Maynarding away. I've heard it pronounced a couple different ways, but in any case, he's going to go ahead and put a probe direct in gas, which is a fine thing to do. He actually has a pretty high number of minerals at this point, and part of the reason is probably because he only just now is morphing in warp gates. Part of the reason is because he has too few production facilities. He can actually support more than this on 2 bases, and as he saturates this base, he's going to have more and more excess minerals. Note that he is building probes 2 at a time now, and that's the way to be. Could go ahead and chrono boost these a little bit if you wanted to. Definitely could morph this into a warp gate so that he could make those units a bit faster. There we go. Yeah! He's getting it done. You'll see that he has a pretty nice little force lined up here. He's also gonna scout a little bit. This spore crawler is gonna go ahead and take that out, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. You can make another one. Scout a bit more. And I'm gonna go ahead and take a look in the maxbie cam, see what he has seen. He's seen these Evo chambers. He's seen that there is a roach warren, which is pretty key. So he kind of knows what's going on. He sees a little bit. He's gonna go ahead and send a hallucinated phoenix. Yeah, maxbie getting the scouts off. Good. Should be building probes now. Definitely wants to make sure he's building probes. He's probably busy looking at this phoenix and sending it around. Wouldn't be surprised if he started using his warp gates and building probes. Yeah! Phoenix dies, he builds probes. He builds cannons, he gets that warp in. He was actually pretty late on that warp in just because he was so busy focusing on his hallucinated phoenix. He's going to go ahead and get that extended thermal lance, which makes Colossi even better than they already are. I would actually recommend to him to go ahead and get charge specifically, and also to get a forge for upgrades, because upgrading versus Zerg is really great. It actually turns your kinda sad little zealots into these massive killing machines, which are much harder to shut down. And upgrades are great in general. Here's that forge. See, we could be researching these. But overall, maxbie's doing pretty good. He could still be spending this money a little bit better. It's kind of high. He's definitely going to want to continue building probes, which he is, but only one at a time now for some reason. And, you know, also make lots and lots of units, because units will win you the game, and probes will let you make more units. Definitely wants to transfer some of these probes down from this base to this other one to balance out the saturation. See, he's got some cannons here, just in case there's any air attack. Maybe spread them apart just a little bit more, but other than that, that's fine. You can see that the Zerg's supply is getting a bit ahead of his. Zerg is still actually only on 2 bases. Definitely want to make sure that you scout the entire map every now and again, because Zerg can expand all over the place, and if you let it get out of control, it's a problem. You'll see another nice hallucinated phoenix here. Yeah. That's going to go ahead and scout the normal places, though, sending a single probe out to run around, and even scouting this random spawn position that we already know that he didn't spawn at would be fine, because we want to make sure you keep track of the ninja expansions. There's a couple of these colossi here. The thing that I would say about this is, as far as composition, you definitely want lots of sentries to shut down Zerg armies, because force fields are amazing. Colossi are pretty great, but what we scouted was a roach warren. And if you look at what Univers has, it's lots of roaches. So what you want is immortals. I mean, I wouldn't say no to some colossi in my army if you asked me, but immortals is what you want here. They're really, really good versus roaches. The problem with colossi is that while they do a decent amount of damage, they're also pretty weak units, and you need some beefier units to defend them. You need something that'll do the damage to all those roaches. See, some cannons are going to help defend this here. Lots and lots of extra money for maxbie. He could probably throw down an extra robotics bay, he could throw down more warp gates. He just needs to spend it a little bit better. You'll note that the Zergling train here is running all around the map, checking all of the bases, because he expects maxbie to have an expansion, and an expansion is a completely fine thing to have. I want to go ahead and congratulate maxbie. He is actually researching Psystorm and almost has it done, which means that he's getting High Templar, yes. And High Templar are just really fun. Now these Zerglings are going to die, because Colossi are really great at dealing with Zerglings, but there's all these roaches, and that's a lot of roaches. It's a whole lot. Having detection would be really, really good. Not just because Zerg players sometimes will burrow, but also because you'll help deal with this annoying creep, which creep helps Zerg a lot. You don't want them to have it. You'll note that this Colossi is probably going to go down here pretty soon. We have these roaches swarming on in. More force fields would really help with this. We have some micro being done by these Colossi, which is just a fine thing to do since roaches have very short range. But roaches are able to make pretty quick work of them because they're kind of weak units. Now we know that this warp gate hasn't been used in a while. maxbie definitely needs to be careful to make sure to be using those warp-ins to be producing units as much as he possibly can. Note that this production tab is pretty much blank as he's focusing on this area up here. Making probes while you are attacking or being attacked is actually a pretty great thing to do. You'll note that this roach count is dwindling as he does micro these up and down. Ah, the lag monster. The hardest of all bosses. But in any case, I think this push is going to be pretty successful, especially since he isn't making enough units. Definitely adding on those extra production buildings and making sure to macro and make those probes is going to be pretty helpful. Also, mothership cores are really great for defending. Mothership cores using photon overcharge or just using that nice time warp ability is going to be pretty great. And when your probes get bunched up like this, you definitely want to transfer them down to your expansion. So, just general macro things to improve upon. Make probes, make lots more units, make sure that the number of gateways you have is balanced with the number of gateways you can support, and try and expand more. I mean, we see that maxbie puts down this expansion eventually, but he probably could have had it up a lot earlier and then built some warp gates around it to sort of help fend off any attacks that might happen. And that would have both solved his problem of I can't spend my minerals quite fast enough, and also would have given him additional motivation to saturate a whole nother base. So in any case, thank you so much to maxbie for submitting this game. If you want one of your replays analyzed, you can have that as well. If you send me an email with said replay to noobcrafted@gmail.com, I am going to go ahead and do some more analyses of replays. I'm specifically looking for ones in the bronze, silver, and gold levels, but I will go ahead and take anyone who wants them analyzed and put them up on my channel. If you just want me to do a regular cast of your replays, that's fine too. You can send them to me at the same email address, again, noobcrafted@gmail.com, and I'll put those up as well. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and have a good night.